the chop up of the elephant. It's called the elephant walk.
All right. Country activities.
No, because we mixed it up enough and sped it up that it's like we can't tell what it is. It's awesome. Yes.
Just give me a countdown.
Yeah, sure.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Elephant Room. We have never done anything like this before. This is crazy. We are here from the University of Toronto, Robarts Library. We want to give a shout out to the Black Grad Student Association. Thank you so much for all of your help. For iLive Radio, representing, although you may not be able to see this yet. And I want to thank Chris Jerk for the food. Unfortunately, my online family cannot see the food that we are having here, but we will eat vicariously, and you can live vicariously through us as we enjoy the Chris Jerk food. I'm sorry for those of you who are not here with us. This is the Elephant Room, and I just here in Toronto, what we like to do is acknowledge where we are. So you can click we're going to do a land acknowledgement. We like to represent the people who own this land before us. So I just want to give a shout out and an acknowledgement to the land that this University of Toronto operates on. For thousands of years, it's been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still the home of many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to have the conversation in and on this land. Okay, perfect. Give me another slide.
Right.
But
before we start sliding all over the place, guys, so
you can click it.
Okay, I can click.
No, you can click the slide and then you can introduce yourself. We'll introduce ourselves.
All right.
Perfect.
So my name is Mike Truth the Nomad, A.k.a. Boogie Mkab. Now that's a very long name, so today you guys can call me Boogie if you want. That's okay.
Okay, he's Boogie today. Sometimes he's Mike Truth. It's all good. My name is L.A. and we welcome you to the Elephant Room. So everyone always wants to know, what is the Elephant Room? The Elephant Room. So I'm sure all of you have heard the expression that there's an elephant in the room and then nobody is talking about it. So this is how the idea was birthed, is that there are things in our community that we see that are they're right there, they're blatant in front of our face, but we tend to ignore them because we don't know how to have those kind of conversations. So what we're doing is we're providing space and an opportunity for people to come together and discuss the things that we need to talk about in order to move forward with our communities. So that's what this is all about. The month of February was Black History Month. And there was a lot of hypocrisy going on. And we saw it mostly transponding on social media. So we figured we would go through a review of the social media events that were taking place. And we would ask you, the people, which ones you get to vote, which are the topics that you want to talk about. We have how many more minutes? We have about 90 minutes to discuss what is going on in social media. So if you can hit the slides, we'll review them. Kinte, I just want to make sure that you can see what we're going to be showing you. Oh, you went too fast. We also wanted to say that our community often dwells and laments in the problems that we have. And so we wanted to start off, although it was hard to find, there were some success stories. So we don't want to think that everything is all bad. We just wanted to draw attention to some of the good things that are happening that we were able to find on social media. Okay, Boogie. Let's see. Kinte, just let us know if you can see it. You have to press. There you go. So Lil Jon opens the second school in Ghana.
Yay.
This wonderful millennial left her corporate career.
Megan. And she opened up her own business. And finally,
your boy,
Doctor, my guy,
Umar Johnson.
He has given us the location of his school.
His second school.
Whoop, whoop.
Wow. So there are some things happening, right?
So those are positives.
So those are the positives. And now let's talk about some hypocrisy in our community.
Already there's some elephants in the room.
Let's see if we can identify the elephant. Okay? Kinte, can you hear us? Can you check if Kinte can hear us?
Yeah, there's something.
Okay, looks good. Does it sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. And anybody who's in the Get Vocal platform that wants to join in, feel free. You just might have to put your microphones on mute, and then you can unmute them when we ask a specific question. Okay, cool. Okay, Shakira.
All right. So the first one is the Super Bowl, or maybe the Stupid Bowl. I mean, whatever.
Which was the Super Bowl?
How you see it. So the first one.
Wait, but first, give the setup. Like, what happened with the Super Bowl? What was supposed to happen or not even happen?
So from what I remember, there was a player by the name of Colin Kaepernick who took a kneel to basically represent a stop, like, you know, his discontentment with what's going on, and a lot of people, a lot of artists and celebrities like, yeah, Cap, you know what, Cap, we support you. And so before the Super Bowl, people were saying, yo,
ban the Super Bowl.
Ban the whole season. We're not watching nothing.
We're not down with the Super Bowl. But let's hear what our friend here had to say.
Yeah, you guys watch Love and Hip Hop. You know Jesse Wu.
Jesse Wu, what's going on?
You know, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I just can't help but ask myself a question, or ask all of ourselves a question. Where would we be if our ancestors were as fickle as we are? I thought we were boycotting the NFL. Like, I thought the Super Bowl was canceled. I thought the NFL was canceled. Yet here we are. You know, the NFL places the Super Bowl in Atlanta, the Wakanda of the United States. And I'm seeing all of us who were supposed to be standing with Cap, attending every event that promotes an organization that oppresses Black players amidst the most terrible social issue climate of our lives. Here we are, celebrating.
Okay.
That's topic one.
That's
Where
topic
would we
one.
be if
So
our
let's go to
ancestors
topic
were
two.
as fickle?
Make sure you think about what you want to talk about. You're going to pick the first topic that we're going to talk about. This is the second one. This is 21 Savage. Our friend here is going to give us a whole breakdown, Mr. Justin Blue, about what he thinks is going on with the 21 Savage situation.
It's Justin Blue, 60 seconds in enough, but I need you to understand the bigger picture of this whole 21 Savage situation. When a Black person is being used as a tool of destruction against their own people, they're allowed to keep doing what they're doing. This is one of the reasons why Black gangs are allowed to thrive, while progressive Black organizations are quickly dismantled. So you're telling me nobody realized 21's visa was expired when he got kicked out of high school for pulling a gun on another student? Nobody realized his visa was expired when he got arrested for drug charges as an adult? But he was arrested a week after going on national television and rapping about immigration, Flint water, and America's legal system. Now, I'm not saying he's an angel, but the brother started using the system to his advantage to make a positive difference. He stopped buying jewelry and started investing, started creating programs to teach financial literacy, started giving thousands of children school supplies. ICE is trying to tear down his image because they don't want other Black men from the street to see that they can finesse the system in the same way. They want to tear down his street credibility to stop him from inspiring other people from similar positions. They're trying to point out that he's from the UK as if the UK doesn't have slums, as if Black immigrants don't struggle, as if a person can't move to a city at the age of 12, grow up there, and then rep that location.
Okay.
Okay.
So far, Super Bowl, 21 Savage. What we got next?
So before we go to the other one, you guys notice the next slide to it too? Mm-hmm. So all that talk, Ludwig Göransson was the only artist to mention 21 Savage on the Grammy stage. Keep that in mind. So if you just want to talk about hypocrisy, going on to the next one. Hey.
One of my favorites.
Cheers, more light-skinned kids.
Okay, let's see.
Cheers to more light-skinned kids. Cheers to more light-skinned kids. Cheers to more light-skinned kids.
All right. Already the Black women are kissing their teeth in the room. Let's just go to the next slide before we start a riot up in here.
Oh, let's not get angry
now. Black girls.
Come
on, you know how we be. We have to play that again. But okay, can I just wait? I need, before you press play, this is my most all-time favorite, and if we don't pick this as one of the topics, I'm gonna be really sad because this is the best thing I've ever seen in February. Okay.
Boom. 1, 2,
this one? Yes.
Wow, bias.
A little bit of a bias. Oh. I can't.
$60,000? I've worked 3 days this week. Maybe you're not as important as you think.
I can't.
It's just not enough. His poverty drove him to crime. I'm so important on this show. I'm getting death threats.
I'm going to kill you.
Wow, this is shocking.
I'm going to kill you.
You're actually getting fan mail. So cool.
They didn't take him seriously enough.
They don't take me seriously enough.
So he came up with a plan that would change his life forever.
What is wrong, Juicy?
I'm sorry, Nigerian trainer.
Sorry, Nigerian trainer.
I sent myself a death threat letter at work. Nobody cared.
Why would no one care? You are famous.
I'm gay.
What if that letter was real?
I can't.
And a Trump supporter beat you up in the street because you were famous?
I'm gay.
I need to find a MAGA Trump supporter and get him to beat me up in the streets. And then I'll make more money.
But Juicy, where would you find Trump supporters willing to participate in this risky scheme?
I'm looking at him right now.
I'm talking about you guys.
Trump was hatched.
I have a hat and a noose so that everyone knows I am racist. And I brought the bleach.
Bleach? Why?
I am so racist that I want to turn black people white.
Critics have called it the performance of the
It's
year.
like a Chappelle skit.
Right?
I love eating sandwiches at 2 a.m.
Up to that actor that is underpaid on the show Empire, who is very famous.
I'm gay.
Yes, I am.
Oh my god.
This is my country.
It's terrible. Okay.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Gay Tupac. That was a major mistake, right? Okay. I'm really grateful to Trevor Noah for that.
So, yeah.
Even if we don't choose it as a topic, I really like that video. Okay, what's up next?
Coming with
Okay. Do you want to preface that one?
Yes. So we have Gucci, Prada, Burberry, and Floyd Mayweather. Sorry.
Mayweather. No, I think we did it right.
But so yeah, I don't know if you guys were in awareness. During that month, it seemed like all these high-end fashion brands, they decided to have a go at, how else they can make a mockery out of black folks.
What's the shoe?
So those are actually
What's the
those
brand?
so these ones here. What's her name? That
That's
singer.
Prada. That's Prada? Yeah.
So they have Prada, but like those shoes, I think Katy Perry or something. Like Katy Perry as well. She was part of this whole debacle. So those are her brands. And
What's
so,
the brand in the corner?
So this is Gucci.
That's Gucci.
Yeah, Gucci, and then
Middle
this
is
is Prada.
Burberry, Prada,
Exactly.
and then Katy Perry.
And so basically, in the midst of seeing all of this, our national hero, Mr. Undefeated,
Mr. Undefeated.
he was seen doing this.
controversy.
Yeah, I'm sure you heard, black, they had the blackface sweater and, a lot of prominent artists dropping that.
Man, listen, I don't got nothing against nobody.
Really?
My thing is this: I support everybody. I like everybody. And my thing is this: I like to live life, do what I like to do. I'm not no follower. I do what the fuck I want to do.
Right.
Because everybody say wear this or don't wear this. I'm wearing what the fuck I want to wear. I'm about to go in the Gucci.
Were you disrespected at all by the whole blackface?
I'm about to go in the Gucci.
I saw you dropped that light 40 on, at that tournament the other day. At that game.
Oh yeah, but you see, we've been in there shopping today.
Look at, oh man. Hey, you're not worried about the backlash at all. Look at all the Gucci bags.
Oh man, I'm living life, man. I'm living life.
Because people like T.I., Soulja Boy, they're done with Gucci. They said.
All I gotta say is this: I don't follow. I do what I want to do when I want to and how I want to. I love it like everybody.
Right.
You said they're gonna be upset with me?
Right, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Okay, my God.
He can't read, so he can't read. We already know what that's. Wow. Okay.
Next one.
Next one.
Right?
I hope you guys are keeping track because we're gonna have to talk about at least one or two of these topics. Oh, our friend R.
Hey.
Kelly.
Oh,
I mean, our well, anyways, depending on your views, but our non-friend.
Our friend or non-friend. Okay. So I mean, R. Kelly and Mr. R. Kraft
The
kind of
two
speak for
RKs.
themselves. The RKs. Yeah, they kind of speak for themselves. I don't want to give it too much attention at the moment because there's no video to watch, but you can keep that in mind. If you want to discuss it, we can take it up here. But as you can see, there's a lot to talk about.
And
So,
there's a huge elephant.
but
There's,
one's of age and one.
there's a huge
so the
elephant.
point is, I don't know if
That's-
anyone ever have heard that out there, but one of the members of the audience has stated that, you know, Robert Kraft, while it's still illegal, at least they're of age.
Yeah.
And just
I
keep
mean, selling sex. I mean, that's a woman's prerogative to really.
selling sex is the woman's prerogative. I'm just putting out there what people are saying in the audience here.
Children aren't developed.
I think this topic might want to come out. We'll see just now. Just let's go to the next topic and
Next one.
see. Oh, the Billy of the
Billy
Ball.
and black masculinity.
Yeah.
So yes, so like this actually from the Oscars last week.
My son says some man wearing a long dress.
So okay, so
Oh.
there's some children in the room and they think, why is that man wearing a dress? And you know, these are the topics that in our communities we're not talking about. But guess what?
You know,
He's on TV and my son wants to know, why is that man wearing a dress? We need to address these elephants in a positive way so that we can figure out how to continue to move forward as a community. Sorry. Okay, next one. Miss Monique, the Monique effect. I think you got some video for that one.
right.
Coonery.
As we try to come through this, because what I want really is for you to come
There's
through,
two
because I
sides
know
to
who you
it.
really are. And so what I want you to do is come through this with a different way. Because you, Monique, you my girl. I love you like a sister. I hate what's happening to you. I hate what they're saying that's not true. I want them to know that you are caring, that you're a great mother, that you are incredible talent. I don't like the fact that you've been blackballed. You can be unblackballed. You too talented to have to worry about all this where the next one coming from. I want it to end for you. I want it to end for you, Monique, because I love you. Because these people are doing it the wrong way, and you better than that. You are better than that.
Okay. And
Okay,
then
this is the
in the same interview.
in the same interview.
As we try to come through this, because what I want really is for you to come through, because I know who you really.
Steve. We heard you already, Steve. Another one, Steve.
I've done nothing wrong.
When you tell the truth, you have to deal with the repercussions of the truth. We black out here. We can't come out here and do it any kind of way we want to. Listen, your husband can't be the Sydney that he really is out here.
Let me tell you.
They're not that flexing.
Let me
We
tell
gotta
you
flex a different way. We out here in a game. This the money game. This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game.
But
We in the money game. And
We're
you
in the
cannot
money game.
sacrifice yourself. The best thing you can do for
This
poor
why
people
I
is
love
not be
my
one of you
We're
cannot
in
help
the money
them.
game. But let me tell you what the game is before the
Cannot
money
help them
game.
like this.
Before the money game is called the integrity game. And we've lost the integrity worrying about the money.
But Mo,
And wait a minute.
if I
Wait a minute.
crumble,
If you
my children crumble, my grandchildren crumble. I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement. There are ways to win the war in a different way. We got more.
So the question for the Monique effect is what Steve Harvey's saying, is he representative of a coon or is he just telling the truth? Or is it a little bit of both? So keep that in mind.
And
I think, how many more do we have? I think this might be the last one.
And,
No, you think he stands with Kaepernick?
What's that?
We'll
I wonder
see.
if he stands with Kaepernick.
You think he stands with
There's an
Kaepernick?
elephant in there. What's that say?
It says nobody cares about black women as a
Oh, that's a
subject.
big elephant that I would like.
So I wonder.
All right, so let's see if there's another one.
Let's see if there's another one. Okay, no.
And,
So, okay, so let's go back.
Good topic.
Let's see. Can somebody in the audience let me know who's monitoring the Get Vocal? What is the topic? So what do they want to focus on first? What's the first topic? Anyone in Get Vocal, they can add to the room. Anyone here, you can lift your hands and decide which topic you'd like to discuss first. Oh, we got somebody here, Laura.
Okay, so we are.
Vote for Jesse.
So like.
There are other for Jesse, okay? And Laura,
Okay, Steve Harvey.
you do want to talk about the Steve Harvey thing? Anybody else?
How would we do a show of hands? So
Okay, so Jesse, my favorite, versus Monique. Steve Harvey and Monique. So for a show of hands, who wants to talk about Smollett first? Jesse, with the Nigerian trainers. Okay, and online, what's going on Get Vocal?
Jesse or Monique?
Jesse or Monique. So it doesn't really matter. We have approximately 1 hour, so I think we can do some good damage. I want the Get Vocal family to know that this Sunday, we will address the topics that we don't get to here. So the lucky thing is for Get Vocal that we'll be able to engage in this topic a little bit better on Sunday at 3 p.m. But for now, we have some people entering the room. No, it's all good. Come on in. Yeah.
For now, like, you guys want to start with Jesse or
I want to
Monique?
start with Jesse.
Jesse?
Let's start with Jesse and then we'll move over to Monique.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Controversy, you take it away. What do you want to focus on exactly?
Well, I mean, the elephant in the room for,
Here,
for
turn the light
Jesse.
on.
I guess the main question that comes to my mind is why would it, if it's true, allegedly, because I'm still not sure if
Really?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's all allegations. I mean, they have a lot of evidence.
Is he still defending it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give her the mic? So the only reason we need you on the mic is so that we can hear your footage after. Don't be shy. Don't worry. Go ahead.
No, he's actually still saying that he's innocent.
He's still saying he's innocent. Okay.
Absurd.
Anybody on Get Vocal can come in the room and you can start commenting so that we can hear you and be a part of that conversation. One of the audience members here said that he is stating that he is innocent. Hi.
Well, what do you think about that?
Do you think he's innocent?
How do you know? He's not innocent. Like there's so much evidence against him. There is no way that he's innocent. Absolutely not. There's too many things. There are too many things. Oh my gosh.
It's all good.
Yeah, he's
You think he's guilty?
Oh, yeah. I knew he was guilty before it was talking about.
Hold on.
What made you think that he was guilty?
Oh, look there.
Oh,
there.
he's
yeah.
innocent. Oh my god.
It just didn't feel right to me. I was when it first came, the story broke. I was definitely like, oh, whoa, this is huge. This is heavy. And based on how I felt about it, because of history and the existence of our people and how we've been exploited and murdered, and we've gone through so much strife. A story like that affected so many of us, even if you weren't Black. It's a really affecting story. So it was very weird to me when he got on stage to do a concert a couple of days later. I was like, how is he moving like that? And even say his body's not completely hurt like it was reported. Your mental state, having a noose put around your neck and bleach poured on you and beaten, there's no way your mental state can bring you to do a concert. I don't care how strong you are. You need to take time to deal with that spiritually and then address your audience when you feel you're right, because that is a very traumatizing thing to go through. But to get on stage, dance around, say there's nothing wrong with me, look, my ribs are okay, and then say I fought back and I'm the gay Tupac, was very irresponsible of him. Because, I mean, everybody is watching to see what you're going to say that will ease out all of our pain that we have for you. To me, that was the death gift. Right.
For me, the interview.
I didn't even watch the interview. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't even watch.
He had an interview with I can't remember who it was, but everything he said, like watching the interview, everything that he said, the way how he described what happened to him, it was very upsetting because I'm a victim of things and I know what it's like and how a person, I can't say how everybody would react, but I can say how a victim would react to certain things. The fact that he wore the noose home.
What?
He wore the noose home.
He wore the noose
Do you
home.
see what I mean? Like,
Even when he was describing his attack, there were holes in his story all the way through. He wore the news home. He was out at 2 a.m. in the morning, out to get a sandwich, and he supposedly got jumped. There was footage on there were cameras around that got footage. That's how they caught the two guys.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely just beyond upset about the fact that he was gonna let these two guys go to prison for his life. He was gonna let them go to jail and spend real time of their lives for a lie.
Wow.
Like, how could you do that? How you have no integrity as a person? Like, I'm just really upset about that.
Okay, I think John Paul's going to represent what's happening on Get Vocal.
So Pat's saying she feels kind of bad that people are putting so much emphasis on entertainment. Anything else you want to add to that? Sports and big entertainment should have been outgrown after a certain age. It's a bit frustrating. So what do you guys think about that? The importance we put on entertainment and entertainers.
Yes, I agree.
Well,
all the news media seems like it talks more about entertainers and the fake world than they do about real news. We don't know what's happening around the country, let alone our brothers and sisters from the Fora in the islands, and especially what's going on in the U.S. We don't see, we only see, what these fake people are doing.
yeah. Do you think that fake news or this focus on entertainment happens mostly within the Black issues? Is that what the media tends to take up? Because are there other real life issues that are on? Because I mean, we seem so distracted by entertainment. No, go ahead. Go ahead, honey.
I was going to say it's distraction away from the real issues.
Yeah, but how many of us are eating it up? I mean, we're here just to talk about elephants in the room. We're educated people. I wouldn't say you, Laura. I think you are, more enlightened maybe than some of us. But we're all here. We have our Instagram accounts. We have our Facebook accounts. We have our who represents Black Twitter in here or online.
Till this day, all day.
Right? We consume these things. But what are we doing with this information? How are we taking up what is happening with these distractions? When that video came out, This Is America, and he was showing us, for me, that's how I took it in, was he was showing us all of the distractions that were happening around us. Meanwhile, do you see the other images that are coinciding with those distractions? And we've become desensitized to some of these things, right?
Well,
go ahead.
I think that also it's an issue of us being too reliant on things that are external to us. We do depend too much on the outside world to tell us how to think, how to be, and what is really right. So I think that when I look at a situation like this, like Juicy's, is his name Juicy? Jesse? Juicy?
Jesse. Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah, I know.
That's what the Nigerian trainer called him.
So when you look at Mr. Juicy, it showcases that, because if once again, I'm saying allegedly, if he is lying, then it shows this need for validation that I think a lot of us from infancy, we feel this need to be validated by things that are external to us, and I wonder why that is. What drives that?
Oh my God, Kinte said he provided jobs for immigrants. Of course he's joking. That's that L.A. that L.A. comedy.
Juicy. Let me see.
Shannon, what did Shannon say?
I said on that part, Pat, it's always been like that, and yeah. No, but so it's just so interesting though, because you do look at, and if it is true, you look at people that are going through issues, because I don't classify real or not, because I'm not the judge of that. I think that's another elephant that we tend to do a lot. Almost a term that I heard used before was the Olympics of suffering. we tend to classify
The oppression Olympics.
Yeah, the oppression like Olympics. We tend to classify, our journeys to others, and so it's like that aspect of it. I do know that there are people out there that are really, really suffering when it comes to financially. That they make way less than Jussie, and
he said $60,000. I worked 3 days this week.
Like when you think about that, for somebody who's in a much more
because it's a low quote. It is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
the actress.
from the industry.
Because I mean, to the general public, that's somebody's salary for the year.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
60. Yeah.
Like right.
Right.
Like some people have like maybe 20,000, 30,000. To an actor on a hit show like that, usually it starts there when the show comes, or it starts at about 40, 50, and then if the show blows up, which it did, then they up your salary big time, right? So for him to just be at 60, 65, you're like, it's been on for like seasons. It's had some seasons.
Right.
And he's a major player. Yeah. So I'm like, why isn't his salary gone up? So I understand where he's coming from, but it's still really petty because that's a lot of money.
Okay, wait. Kente has something to say?
Yes, Kente does have something to say. He's just saying that we're being too nice to Jussie and we're going too deep. And he's just a bad person.
Oh, that's
I'm trying to find reasons why.
Yeah, Kente's that guy. Kente's that guy.
But I think there's like some
validity.
to that. I think there's some people who you may think are in a certain group where maybe they're oppressed or maybe XYZ, but there are some people who are in those groups who are just bad people. And I think we're like, maybe we should be overanalyzing it, but I think sometimes it's just bad people who see an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad mind.
That's
like there's it's pretty bad mind to fully go to the lengths that he did to get the potential of more money. There was no guarantee that was going to give him more money. And I don't watch that show. So I don't know how he expects people to believe that two white random people would know who he was at 2 a.m. to come get him. I don't know.
These MAGA supporters.
We have the peanut gallery in the house. Come on. What you think about Jussie? Yeah, take it. Go ahead.
Well, I just came in, so it makes me angry.
Yep. Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're good. Just recording it.
It makes me angry because if you look at stories, any story that anybody tells, why would you have to make up real stories and like discredit by just one person? So one person can literally ruin it for everybody.
Right.
And when this happens, I know Republicans that are like open Republicans are just looking at this story like these Democrats, plural, are treating us like you guys are jokes. You're this, you're that, and discredits my story. Just discriminates people of color story, even people that identify as LGBTQ, their story. It's really sad. It's like we have to constantly defend ourselves and constantly keep going and going and going. And it just doesn't feel like it's going to stop anytime soon. It's really disheartening.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Me Too movement, where, all of these women were coming out of the woodwork calling out Me Too, Me Too. And then, of course, we don't want to victim blame, but it also opens it up to women, putting themselves on blast and then men not feeling trustworthy. Like if there's a lot of men in the corporate world and there's a woman that needs to join the party, that needs to be a part of the boys club, guess who's just gotten herself out of a promotion because the likelihood of them wanting to have her around, all she needs to say is 2 little words and everything is done. Everything gets shut down. And then what about the women who are using that for money and for gain, kind of like Jussie? right? And then, so what happens to those victims? There are victims on both sides there, for the gay men who are trying to fight for their place in society, and the women who are actually being abused by these people by constantly talking about these issues and they're not true. You're making it worse for everybody else who's actually in the struggle trying to get somewhere. John Paul, oh, go ahead, Boogie.
Oh, no, that was
John Paul, do you have any more comments on? Okay, we're going through.
Monique, how we doing?
Yeah, we'll see what time it is. Okay.
Patricia has another thing.
Oh, Patricia has something else to say.
Says her sister, who's from Chicago, Black folks knew right away the story was fake. It was Sub-Zero out. And perhaps Jesse hadn't progressed to the point where he has no Uber Eats.
Well, with 60,000, he maybe can't afford Uber Eats at 2 a.m.
Ain't no Black folks searching for food at 2 a.m.
In the winter. Not if they're in Canada. Yeah, the holes in the story. Go ahead, Miss Shakira.
Right.
It's only. Hi, welcome to the room. It's 5:12. So we might be able to get through more because although the video was quite entertaining, you missed the video. It was really entertaining. We can go on to the Monique issue, which might, unless anyone else has anything to say. Does anyone online on Get Vocal have anything to add about Mr. Smollett? Oh, you do? Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody watched the Joe Budden podcast? Because Joe Budden's been saying this for
He said it.
He said it from jump, right?
He said it right away. Everybody was mad at him.
He was like, I don't believe in this period.
But okay, so here's another elephant in the room, right? When heterosexual men came out and said that this story wasn't true, the backlash on those men because you're not supporting the LGBTQ community, you know? And now when this is exactly your point, right? Is that it makes it bad for the people who are actually struggling because look, now what are all those people saying to those heterosexual males who were calling it out from the beginning? What do you think about that, Matt? Do you want to have something to say? Okay.
I mean, no. I mean, me personally, like I was shocked to hear that news, but then I feel like, especially as a heterosexual man, like I have no voice to even say that. So
right? Okay.
I definitely didn't want to believe it, and a lot of my LGBT friends were like, "Oh my god!" Like they were supporting Jesse even when he did come out saying he was lying or whatever. Or I guess news.
The news said,
that he was lying and stuff. So I'm like, so he's just gonna make matters worse. Like, why would he lie? Is he like, I don't know, insecure about something that he just wants attention? Like, what was the whole point of that? It's just
seriously.
It's digging a bigger hole for ourselves, for the LGBT and Black people. Like, why? Like, I really want to know his motive behind all that.
Yeah.
It's just making matters worse.
And the fact that he wasted.
Come closer if you're too far. She's getting her steps in. Her Fitbit is on point right now.
But like, what you call it? Like a quick elephant that I want to point out. So there seems to be this narrative of individual and community. That I don't know if you guys are picking that up because it seems like now as an individual, like the way that you show up in the world, the things you do, now it's like affecting the whole community now. So like it's like this policing that we have kind of going on. That's
The resources, the police resources that they use and took away from actual cases that needed to be solved or needed police attention, I really, really am upset about that because I feel like it should have never happened.
Right.
And, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Anybody else on Get Vocal? Oh, go ahead.
I mean, institutions.
Wait. We gotta wait till you get the mic. Do we think if?
So I have two things to say.
Okay, two things.
I'm probably gonna have this whole room say, but I want to say, what if it comes to light that he is actually telling the truth? I mean, what if? I mean, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
She's playing the advocate.
The advocate right now, and because there's many times where things have come. People have basically villainized somebody that is maybe made a mistake. Right now we're going through that with this girl Jordan and the
Oh,
Kardashians.
Jordan Wood.
Jordan Wood.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of like a March issue because it kind of happened at the end of February. But that's okay.
What if it comes to light that this young man is innocent? I mean, are people going to apologize? I mean, are people going to, or is he still kind of like within the media, public opinion has ruined his whole career? So do we think about things like that? And then also the other thing is that institutions, like historically, these institutions like, the police have been doing this for years. So this isn't all new. None of this is new.
The police have been doing what for years?
For years, the police have been taking resources from something and putting it towards something else. And for years, the news has been taking stories and that are usually stories that have nothing to do with underlying, they're just surface issues, and not doing anything about it. Like we've been kind of going in circles here. So what is happening? What is the outcome? Where's the change?
Right.
I guess that's what I want.
What was your second thing? You said
That was the second thing, right?
No, I just lost
but like these are very good points. I think I want to just shift focus a bit towards Monique.
Wait, was there anything last thing on? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to just, because there's new people in the room, go back to playing the Monique thing? Well, there's people that won't have context. Oh, you're good?
No, can you give a little background of the Monique thing? Like, I watched it.
Okay. See, I knew people weren't really clear on what.
I don't know what I was looking at.
Okay. So we're gonna explain the Monique thing. Go ahead, Boogie.
Recently, I don't know if you guys heard, Monique, she was supposed to have a special with Netflix, and I think that she felt that they were trying to
underpay her.
Underpay her. So she went on obviously on social media and everything and said, hey, like let's boycott Netflix. Like, I mean, there's a bit more to the story, but she was calling for like a huge boycott. Matt, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop.
Matt, go ahead.
Okay, so here's my issue with the movie.
Wait, the issue? We're just explaining what happened.
Oh, my God, he's ready.
He's ready to get Monique.
Ready for Monique.
Man.
So yes, Monique was calling for a boycott of Netflix, and it didn't really happen because I still have my Netflix account.
Yeah, I listen. I'm a single woman. Netflix is my life.
but the thing about that too is like on one side, like I can actually see like what she's talking about when it comes to Black women not being almost like shut out. So while she was going through that, there was a lot of public backlash. So from people like Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Steve Harvey. So Steve Harvey then invited her to come on his show so they could talk it out. Mano y woman, and
Wumano.
And so like that's what we saw during that interview. Like clips of it is what we saw. Steve Harvey's talking about survival and almost kind of quote unquote or
cooning.
Exactly. Or I mean from
or is he telling the truth?
If he's telling the truth, like survival, you kind of basically you have to do certain things. So like, that's a bit.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Siding with the white. Yeah, playing to the white people.
Play into the white people. I like that definition.
But when you look at it historically, where Steve Harvey was coming from, you wouldn't call it cooning because you had to be in the United States and Canada in the Black communities for what they went through, and because Monique is already at the table, and he's saying,
behave yourself.
Behave
yourself at the table.
At the table, because like some money is better than no money. You have money to feed people. Like my cousin is Viola Desmond, and I know about the oppression. I grew up with the oppression. So as much as some of the people wanted to do things, they were worried about losing their jobs.
Yeah, we overlook a lot the disenfranchisement that happened in the United States, and while we don't have it great here in Canada, I think they got it in some ways a lot worse. I can't say that because for some reason there's an elephant in the room with Canadian racial politics that kind of hides it. We make it seem,
We don't even have a course here.
yeah, we don't really talk about it.
How do we not study Black Canadian history?
No, but it gives us the impression that we have some privilege here in Canada as Black Canadians over our partners across the border, especially in the southern states. Well, hello, we need you to be on the mic, girlfriend.
I mean, do you think that has a little bit to do with Canada being called the Promised Land?
Canada's called the Promised
Yeah,
Land.
I didn't even know that. That's what Canada's former name was, the Promised Land.
What?
Yeah.
Zion?
Like a Wakanda?
Yes.
Zion?
No, that's true. The underground.
Wow. The Underground Railroad.
And then look at the language, how it stays, you know?
Yeah. No, but I think that's a really great point. So, you have something on there?
Well, they're just playing a numbers game right now.
They're playing a numbers game?
They're saying Monique. Keenan says she wasn't worth 60 million. 2010, 5 or 1 million. Maybe she did the production herself, or she should have done the production herself if she's so popular. Shannon says 13 million.
Oh my gosh.
Keenan says 100.
She was offered 500,000. That's disrespectful.
She was offered 500,000.
Shannon says she's reporting facts. She's worth an estimated 13 million.
Okay, you have to say it into the mic, sweetie pie.
Sorry. Don't we think that, like, that sounds a lot to me like just Hollywood privilege? Because the rest of us offered 500, whatever she was offered. I'm jumping on that.
But you may not be as quick to jump on it with the career that she's trying to back up for herself. And that's the other elephant. Oh, Zavara has something to say. You need to come closer, Zavara. You're kind of far, Dread. Dread, you're well far. Kings don't move? No, but the queen is asking you to please move. No, but when you think about, she was defending her career and saying that if she was a man, because other men who have the same popularity as her would not have been offered 500,000.
And they don't have an Oscar.
And they don't have an Oscar.
Wait. The guys, Zavara got the mic.
Okay.
The mic.
Okay, let's respect the mic.
Yeah, 1, 2,
If you
3,
can
4,
rhyme.
The mic. Hey, there you're not.
I just wanted to share a little bit.
Can you guys see him?
And I think my sister Olivia will support me.
I can't see him.
Unless we know the area of career and what's in it, maybe it's quite easy to say, oh, this is privilege or not, because there's a lot of work involved and people have grinded for years and years and know ins and outs, so they tend to create their own a value system in terms of how much am I worth. For the outsider, your reference point is usually based on what you know and what you do in your area of work. And the reason I mentioned my sister here, she is in the game. Yeah. So she understands if you're not fully grounded to know what you're worth, your integrity, at the same time, not selling yourself just because this is brand so and so, then you'll always be swaying around. Feel me? So that is the area to be looked at instead of. Actually, I thought the actual discussion was the fact that Steve was not really giving her a chance to speak.
Boom.
Well, that's why the subtext says nobody cares about Black women.
That's why it's
right?
mansplaining.
Yeah, he was mansplaining for sure.
Yeah, my impression was the discussion was about that. Apparently, I'm glad you explained.
There's more to it.
Well, it's not an explanation. That's the point of showing. This is why the visual and these videos are so important, because as we scroll aimlessly and take in these images, take in these narratives, it is talking to us. It is informing us. It is ascribing on our souls what we think about ourselves and how we want to see each other, right? So we have to address these things, because if we don't start to address them, what's the matter? Kinte, okay, sorry. That was really rude. That talk about like making the woman shut up. You just did. You just Boogie just told me, hey,
no.
Kinte
Boogie.
needs to speak.
Boogie, whoa.
You could have told me after I said.
Oh,
It's okay. It's all good. Okay. Kinte wants to say something.
Yes,
Okay, I guess I'll read it. I'm gonna speak for you, Kinte. Isn't that what angry black women do?
Oh, we're going there.
I'm just playing. Don't get so serious. Okay, let me make it simple. The mansplaining? Yeah. Let me make it simple. If you have a Wayne Gretzky rookie card worth $10 million, you wouldn't take it. You wouldn't take $500,000 for it. Right?
Right.
Okay, they're saying true.
And now he wants to know what's mansplaining.
Oh, who created mansplaining?
What?
No. Women. Who said it in the no? You said it in the room. Okay, Kinte wants to know what mansplaining is.
Is it even explainable? Like,
men take it upon themselves that are not informed of the female experience to explain our experience to us.
On
what she means to say is,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly like that.
What did he say? Don't you need us to do that for you?
Oh, right.
Kinte's just playing. Like, you have to know Kinte's a joker. I mean, I hope so. I can't swear for him.
Are you woman-splaining?
I'm woman-splaining for Kinte. What were you gonna say, Candace? You need the mic, though.
It's very, very short thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I remember watching this. Actually, I watched this episode on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one thing that Monique said, and because from what I know, majority of all of the comics that get shows on Netflix, it's based on all your ticket sales of comedy shows that you've done. Oh. And I remember her talking about her accolades and about she was, one of the highest sold tickets
for a female comedian.
She also had a huge history of a show. She
won an Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think we're kind of ignoring that little bit, little part.
That's true.
But
her deserving.
So I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Like her career is great. Yeah, her career has been really, really great. But the thing is that when I remember when I was watching it now, I remember thinking, but the media and the millennials and the media now don't know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has to be taken into consideration.
Were you going to say something now?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, Matt has
ready now. He's ready.
Oh, man.
That's actually what I was going to say. Charlemagne actually said it the best, where there was Amy Schumer had an HBO series and was able to do stuff.
Amy Schumer.
I don't really like her, but Dave Chappelle did stuff and he was doing shows. He was on the road a lot. There's like a bunch of people that have Netflix specials that are on Netflix that have worked really hard to get those Netflix specials.
Okay, Kinte, wait. Kinte's gonna wait.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're good. Can you
Okay,
guys?
it wasn't about the Netflix deal. It was about the fact that she was blackballed by Lee Daniels, the unholy trinity of Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry. That's what the whole issue was. And Steve Harvey was telling her, you got to buck dance if you want to make it into the industry. It really wasn't about the Netflix deal when it came to the clip that you showed in that whole episode.
Oh, okay. So then about that then. Go on.
Can you come speak into the mic, sweetie? So, this thing is. Oh, where is she? Oh, there she is.
I think it's because she said something to Oprah.
Yeah, she said something to Oprah.
Do you know? that unholy trinity is probably part of that. Like she cursed Oprah out on social media.
Oh yes, the private part comments.
She told her to yeah.
Exactly.
Monique, and that's why Steve Harvey was saying, like, you're committing suicide. Like, you're basically committing suicide for your career because of the unholy trinity, as Kinte has,
And that's what Steve Harvey was trying to make a point of.
Okay.
Yeah, basically he was saying, like, you can't speak, truth. that you know, master hear you, so you gotta be quiet and you know play the game.
We'll hear you.
So you know, because that's what he does. So he's saying you gotta be like me, not about nothing.
So you're on Kinte. You are Team Coon for Steve Harvey.
I've been years, so this ain't nothing new.
Okay, we got one vote for Coon, and we have one vote for Truth Teller. Anybody can see. Oh, okay. Oh, more votes for Coon. We got more votes for Coon. Steve Harvey. Okay, he's Coon. But
when you're not making any money in the industry, then you're washed up in what you think you might.
I wouldn't say has washed up.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so
go
when
ahead.
you-
Okay. Oh, you're not finished. Finish what you're saying.
No, what I was saying was if you're not making money, you know, like a lot of people, they were famous at one time and then their ratings go down. And then they think that because their ratings went down and people are not interested, like your relevance is gone. And so you can't be worth the same amount of money like all the millions that you think that you're worth. Because she used to have a good TV show on and she was making money. But at the same time is Steve Harvey's from the old school. He's old and he had to go through a lot of things. So it's not the fact that he's cool. It's the fact that he's saying there's a better way to skin the cat.
But what about all those people? There's some truth to that. But what about all the people that were a part of that Super Bowl thing, right? Those are not old school.
No, they're not
that?
Like, we could definitely get to that.
Yeah, well,
afterwards.
I mean that it's kind of part of what we're talking about here, in that all of these people wanted to take a stand at the Super Bowl and not support it because of what Kaepernick was, you know, initially standing or kneeling for, and all of those young people that said they didn't want to be a part of it in support of him. So the integrity piece that Monique's talking about. They were doing side parties at the Super Bowl. That Cardi B still did a Pepsi commercial. You know, there's all of this hypocrisy of people still participating. Jay-Z and Beyonce still sent their artists to go and sing the national anthem. So where is the line? So is he really cooning? I guess so, because
I think so.
my phone thinks so. Your phone definitely thinks so.
I definitely think so, because I think that we get to a place where we talk a lot about emancipation. Like we're very good at talking about it, but the actual like practicality of it, like living in it, a lot of people like are scared. And I think that like in our history, there has to come a time where like more people also take more sacrifices. So I hear when Steve is saying, well, what about my kids? Like they're gonna crumble and everything. See, you're continuing like a cycle that they're going to have to coon like you did. They're gonna have to work for somebody like just like you're doing, and then they're going to keep complaining about how we are not being basically treated fairly. Once again, it comes down to like the idea of us looking to external forces to come and help us. So for me, I support Monique's mindset, even though like the way she that's the way she's going about it. It is what it is, you know. Like she's an individual and she's expressing like how she feels. I feel like basically that it comes a time where we have to take a stand and take all the stuff that comes with it, so that way, like the people that come after us, they're truly going to benefit. So that's
I
what
don't think the movement to ban Netflix though was the right move.
But you know what though? If you think about it, and through the history of people who've taken stands, that in that moment it wasn't like a lot of people were that we propped them on our shoulders and all of that. You have to be not afraid to go against the norm. I think she deserves a lot of credit for having the courage to stand on her principles. And I think that what she's saying is 100% true. And, you know, and everybody's coming for her. But you look back and, you know, Eartha Kitt back in the day who took stands that were unpopular and suffered for it. You know, and what happens is when people do that, it allows the people that come behind to benefit from it too. So I think she deserves a lot of credit. I mean, the whole argument about did she do everything perfectly right? I mean, there's no book to tell you what to do. You know, she's going off of energy and emotion, but I think she deserves a lot of credit.
And talking about energy and emotion, I'm sorry, she always seems really composed when she's talking about it, actually. I've never heard her yelling and screaming. She's getting a lot of bullshit thrown at her. That woman never really broke. Oh, come closer. Yeah, go ahead. Patrick's going to come closer, Zavar. The mic can't go that far. But Patrick's going to say something right now.
No, just supporting.
Wait. You have to wait. Patrick's going first.
I'm listening to the conversation. It's really kind of interesting. A few weeks ago, I had a conversation with this Greek guy that I work with, and we were talking about the type of work that we do, and he was talking about his parents. His parents came over as immigrants, and his parents basically kind of scrimped and saved and lived very meagerly and took a lot of hit because at the time when they came over, being Greek in Toronto was not necessarily a good thing.
Right.
And he said the one thing his parents taught him was that everything that they did was not for them, but it was for the next generation. So he ended up, so his parents eventually opened the restaurant, and he worked part-time at the restaurant. Now he's doing his own thing. And, you know, we were talking about retirement. We're talking about all, you know, the future, all this sort of stuff. And he says, you know what, Patrick, everything I'm doing has nothing to do with me right now. Everything I'm doing is focusing on the next generation, is to make sure that my kids don't have to deal with any of the hardships that I had to deal with. So putting them financially in a state that they can choose their own path. They can decide what battles they want to fight. They can decide what struggles they want to, because they're going to have the means to be able to do it. So maybe Steve Harvey's perspective is thinking, you know what, if I need to be a coon right now, and the world see me as a coon, maybe I need to do that right now so that my next generation will have the option to be able to decide, you know what, if they want to stand with Kaepernick, then you can do that because they're in a financial situation that they can be secure. It's different ways of viewing it. And I think a lot of times we look at each other as coons or as sellouts or as all these different things, but we need the Black Lives Matter people on the front line, and we also need the people in the system working behind to be making the changes in the system. And if everybody's on the front line, then society's going to look at us like we're all crazy.
Yeah, but the respectability politics are real. Thank you for saying that, Patrick. But Zavar, I will address respectability politics in a second. I just want to hear what Zavar had to say. Go ahead.
Not too much. Just wanted to add the energy part. I think our ways of projecting the energy is to remain calm, and that helps to when you maintain your composure, you're able to really project the correct.
Did you just say correct?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, yes, correct way of retaining your energy.
Oh, the correct way to retain your energy, not the correct way to be heard. To be heard.
No.
It's for yourself.
Eventually, it will become, because when you're calm and not reacting to the circumstance, then attention is actually comes to you. When you, there actually a Swahili word, phrase that has a similar connotation. When you make so much noise, you lose a lot of attention. When you remain calm, why is he or she not saying anything? Why are they saying in very calm, very collected way?
So you see it as a consciousness thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a really interesting way to think about it, because how the academic world takes it up is called respectability politics. And respectability politics is, it stems from Christian values being passed down on how you're supposed to behave in order to be seen closer in proximity to whiteness. And for women, Black women, our proximity specifically to white female respectability. And so to see her that way, there's women that are able to hear her. But if she was angry, and she has every right to be angry, she would then be labeled what? Everyone could almost say it as a chorus. The angry Black woman. And so
we need to just embrace that, because we angry.
Yeah, no, there's reasons.
We have freaking right to be. We have anger, but I think that what Zavara is offering is a wonderful solution in the sense that we can elevate to a higher consciousness and use our anger as a way of mobilizing what's happening inside of us for the good. Is that I don't mean to woman speak for you, but I think you won't mind. Praise God.
Like what Audrey Lorde speaks
Oh, okay. Tell us. Can you pass the mic to your sister? Okay, so Audrey Lorde, the author.
The author, yeah, she just basically says that you can't dismantle when she talks about not dismantling the master's house with the master's tools.
Right.
But she does have a write up about that. We have a right to be angry. We do, but in the way we do it is very important, and that we must equip ourselves with the verbiage in order to incite change with our anger. We can't just be angry.
We can't just be angry. Anybody on Get Vocal angry? Oh, Kinte has something to say. You can read. Oh, he's gonna come on. You can speak for yourself, Kinte.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, that's for sure. I do agree with that. I agree with that. The brother though who said Steve Harvey is cooning for the next generation. BS. He's cooning. Coons are selfish. They know there's no coon that is cooning for the good of the community. That's BS. So I don't subscribe to it.
I don't know. I think okay, what does anyone else have something to say? Because I kind of have something to say about that, but go ahead.
I think like playing the game of like how someone deals with respectability politics is so, I don't want to use the word stupid, but so stupid because every single one of us is in a different field. Every single one of us is in a different job. Every single one of us should be focused on whether it's building generational wealth for the people behind us, whether it's standing up. Like, I think how each particular person focuses on dealing with the issue of respectability, it's not your place to tell them. Like, maybe I want to go work on Bay Street, and when I work on Bay Street, then I'm gonna start a scholarship or something like that. And if I have to sell my soul to work on Bay Street and open the door that way,
that's your choice.
Yeah, and if I want to go out and protest and stand in front of a water cannon, and maybe I want to do both. Like, I think there's multiplicity. Sorry, I'm using a lot of that.
No, that's weird.
But
that's good.
I think
It's not someone's place to say something. I mean, it's a free country, so why can't they?
You can say it, but how is that working towards us working together?
Me just standing there and calling him a coon, like, yes, maybe he is, maybe I think he is, but like, he's a coon who has money, and now Lori Harvey can do whatever she wants. You know what I mean? Like, and sure, like, I don't know, like, they're like, you can coon, and then, but me standing there and like throwing eggs at him and calling him a coon doesn't do anything to further what I'm doing or what he's doing or what anyone else is doing. And if Monique wants to sit there and she wants to do it this way, maybe then 10 years down the line, Zendaya is going to be somewhere and she won't have to go through the same thing. So, like, I think you just have to accept that people are going to deal with it differently in every instance.
Please, you have something to say to that, Kinte? No?
I think that
Wait. Go ahead.
No, what I would say to that is, I don't understand what's so great about Lori Harvey having money. I mean, so what?
Thank you.
Well, I mean,
has Steve Harvey not done anything for the Black community? I mean, I don't know his stats. Sure. I've never.
I'm not saying that like money and that like working within the capitalist system should be the end goal, but I think that we can't assume that, like, we can't pretend that we live in a vacuum and that ethics and integrity are the only thing that matter. Like, at some point you do have to move different when you have generational wealth and when you have that money, and maybe your daughter is going to become an IG girl
IG model?
IG model, yeah. And
stay off the pole, girl. Stay off the pole.
and like I'm not saying like and I'm not saying like that's
the only
like,
option.
I'm not saying that's what we should aspire to have every black woman do, every black man do, but I'm saying like maybe we have different end points of where we want our kids to go in terms of generational wealth, and it's more that like they can move any way they want. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense.
It does.
We hear you.
Yeah, you do.
But Wendy has something
totally
to say.
makes sense, but I think that it goes faster and it's more effective if we move together, because we've been moving separately for so many centuries. That's what's causing the disconnect, right? So I am all for do what you want to do or whatever, but like I'm not for supporting people like what's his face, the boxer. That just goes into Gucci and like just comes out of line and says, "I want to do what I want to do." Do you know what I mean? Because then it takes away from furthering our initiative. You know, like we need to see what the Jewish community is doing. Yeah. They do not do things without each other, and they keep excelling. We we have our own. The thing is, when we're in trouble, we come to each other's aid faster than anyone, right? So I just hope it sticks and we continue moving like a flock of birds, as opposed to, okay, you good now, and then we dissipate again, right? Mm-hmm. So I totally understand about individuality and how you think about life. But at the end of the day, if you're not together, then we are easily attacked.
I think it's the judgment conversation,
yeah.
right? Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. So bring to your point, just an overall question. What is the parallel? Like, where do we say that we side and where do we say that we not side? I get the individuality thing, where there's one individual like that does something, and then I get like to the togetherness. So where do we draw the line? Like everybody has a personal lens. You know what I mean? Everybody supports things. Everybody doesn't support things. Like I may have a different opinion than you, for example. And I get the idea of like rooting for everybody black because I'm totally supportive of that, but I also see things from another side. So I guess
it's called a marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's called a marriage.
It's called a marriage, you know.
I just wanted to add into individuality and support towards sister underneath it. In the process of society trying to move away from the oppressive system and shackles of slavery in our mind, sometimes we tend to forget that some of the value systems that we embody don't really represent us as people. Even when we look around to see examples of other people, like she mentioned Jewish, and I'm sure she is referring to Caucasian folks in Eastern Europe. If you look at Chinese folks, Asians, they do tend to have their ways of doing their thing. So idea of individuality, besides being not very African, but it's not human in the first place. And I can give you a simple example. Only creatures that can claim to be, oh, I'm an individual, I can do my own thing, are the ones that who are born and stand up and walk. If you can't do that, someone is taking care of you for 12 months and then you stand up, and then 2 years you start talking, then individuality doesn't fit that equation. Unless you're trained by society, and then you're forgetting the real essence of self, which is always them. It's all about them. Whatever you do, me, then little ones, and then society expands. So humans don't seem to remember these simple equations.
It's a very good point.
We need each other.
That was so
So like we have about how much time do we have left for the conversation?
The time is we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes left. Were you going to say
Yes,
something?
you
Matt?
can.
Different video? Do we have that time?
Okay.
You can join on Sunday and
Just
listen in.
Just a touch on what you were just saying. It's like the difference between selflessness and selfishness. Like at the end of the day, it was all about money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like a respect thing, and like I get what she's saying about that, but it's.
No, but this is, I think you made this point, Mike, in that it might be an integrity thing for her, but I think you and Olenike were saying that we have to stand for something at some point. So while it is about money, she deserved the money, so therefore she took a stand for it. And how she acted in wanting and demanding that kind of respect to get it was being criticized, I think, in large part because she was a Black woman, but also what Steve Harvey's response to it, cooning as we're all calling it, it's his right to coon, is from what I'm hearing from John Paul. But it's our responsibility not to judge him for cooning, I think, is what Zavara is trying to say, and what you also were trying to say. So, Rico, what did you want to jump in? Because I haven't heard you yet.
I wanted to talk about, how, Monique is, I think she's in the right for kind of like saying, put the ban on. And Steve Harvey's kind of like in the wrong. Because he's talking about, the only point he got across was, I'm going to do it. What about my family? What about my grandchildren? What about my children? And it's like, if he supports Monique to not get selling it, to sell herself short, right?
Then
what would
both
that do?
families eat.
What would that do to his children? I don't think it would do anything.
You're right.
He kind of fell off. Like, I don't think he's got like he was gonna get back to like the Steve Harvey of 10, 20 years ago or something like that. Like, he's never gonna be as popular as he once was.
Oh, you don't want to play that video. Wow,
Yeah.
he has a comedy sketch where he's like going in about him.
Give me $4 million and I'll be a monkey.
And like,
That's a quote from him.
That's it. I mean, that's him.
And he's talking about like, there's a different way to do it. I don't even think there is a different way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if they can short sell Monique, then they can short sell lesser
Thank you.
black
artists.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and comics. Yeah.
And remember, Wanda Sykes, they did it to her first.
Yes.
With Netflix, and Wanda Sykes told her, "Move on, girl," because you know what I mean. Just go to another network.
And
Just
that-
try somewhere else.
I think it would be good because you know what, she actually has like a lot of power and influence, right? And you know, if it was a lesser known black comedian or whatever, no one give two shits.
Yeah.
And that right there, see, like me, so the word coon, the dangers of that word is it has impeded like our emancipation, because every single time that we try to break free, what happens is that somebody who is whose idea of trying to just survive and make sure that we survive, that mindset, it really stops, and it stops revolutions. So like you had the Nat Turners and stuff, like way back when they tried to start revolutions, it was like people who were afraid to basically like, break this cycle of like oppression that we're going through, that stopped him. So when you look at it, for me, the dangers in that it's not about the individual choosing this, and like it's beyond that, because our ancestors did not choose to come on this land by themselves. They were brought here. So that means that somewhere along the history, on the other side, somebody's ancestor must have decided, you know what? Like whatever they're going through is enough, and they're going to make a move. They're going to make a power move to go and enslave other people's ancestors and basically make them work. Now they've created this system in which they have made our mindsets feel, comfortable or like wanting to survive, that we don't challenge the status quo. So it's like, for me, when I use the term coon, I use it because ideologies like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later,
So
Shakira.
ideologies such as Steve, which I respect him because he's trying to survive, but I think we're in the game to try to thrive and not survive. So if I want the next generation, such as the two kids that are there, to thrive, I gotta basically like start taking a stance as to the things I'm going to tolerate and what, like Monique said, my integrities are. I then gotta start thinking about what is important to me. And this system here has played money, capitalism, as being God. So everybody's trying to get that to survive. And when you look at, if we're trying to go back to basically like the continent or like our ancestors and stuff, we got to basically like break this. Like for me, I am in a place, I must acknowledge my privilege. I'm in a place where I'm a single 31-year-old like male with no children. So like I can speak from a certain place. So like on one end, I can understand Steve's mindset. However, those like I think in coming together in spaces such as this, then like we get to see solutions. Because when you talk about Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of influence right there. But their mindset is still enslaved, and they are not basically coming together and thinking, hey, how can we cut these chains? Because if it's money, they got a lot of money. If it's people and reach, like if they were to basically like put up a good message, I'm pretty sure we would support. Because like now we're on that Wakanda ship. But then they're not thinking about moving like that because the mindset of trying to survive and not disturb the boat is very much alive, such as Steve Harvey was saying.
Oh yeah, he did say like, you can't, help anybody if you're broke.
Yeah.
There's no way that Monique is broke.
No,
especially off of being short sold for like whatever she was short sold as. It's not really much of a problem for her.
Kente says.
Oh, you have to give him your microphone.
Kente says.
A coon is a traitor.
Yeah, like traitor to liberation. Because at the end of the day, like when you look at like human beings, right? Like when you think about who we are as human beings, I believe that our main goal is to be, which is like to be free completely. So now, if you like anything that comes up with this, like Kinte is saying, then you are a traitor to me, like because you are compromising, and you haven't like dignity in yourself and like respecting yourself because of like basically like the way that you have been tricked or taught. And for me, that's what it is, and I understand that's my privilege, my walk, and yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, there's like 3 minutes left. Rico, I'm sorry, you were gonna say something again. I just keep the mic because what I want to leave us all with is one thing that we can do differently from here. We've shared a lot of information, and now what is it that we're going to do differently moving forward as a result of having this conversation? And get vocal. We're going to keep talking to you guys on Sunday about some of these issues, and all of you in the audience are welcome to join the conversation online. As you can see, no one filled the spots, so that could be you on Sunday. But I know for me, I'm in a position as registrar here at the University of Toronto. And so I'm also in a privileged position somewhat. But what does anyone ever consider what it requires for me to hold that position, especially as a Black woman and quite frankly, the only Black female registrar in this university's history? So that's not
that's powerful. That's powerful.
I didn't say it for class.
Yeah, but it's very powerful.
Okay, but at the same time, it's an incredibly lonely and difficult road to go through. I'm constantly second guessed. And what makes it worse is that I'm non-traditional as it is, right? So I'll rock my locks and my baseball cap backwards right in my job as sitting at my desk. But I'm working with students that, you think that's funny? I'm working with students that I want to relate to. This is my experience also. And so, but when I'm constantly second guessed, constantly asked, he really thinks that's funny, to justify my actions and the things that I do, it's really difficult. So in terms of cooning, I coon for a purpose, but I'm not really cooning because I'm not a traitor, as Kinte says. I'm not a traitor. I'm actually just working undercover. So I take what I'm doing, and I teach the students that I have how to navigate the system so that they know how to work undercover also. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do. That's what I'm going to take. We can go one by one and say what we're going to take and then like close it down, shut it down. Before we do that, I just want to give another shout out to iLive Radio for taping this conversation for us, to the Black Grad Student Association for helping to promote us, God, I have to give a shout out to my friend Candace, who always wants to keep me on point because she thinks she's inside my brain. But I know that I need to give love. Come on, this is my best friend who runs Chris Jerk in Toronto, Canada. How can I ever forget? And all of you lucky people in here are going to get to partake in what she has to offer. I'm sorry again, get vocal. But don't worry, we're gonna come to your cities. I know that Elephant Room is going to make an impact and come to your cities, and we'll be able to bring some food to you guys. But Boogie, what do you want to take? Maybe we should go to the audience, and then we can end with you. You can close it off. Okay, Rico, you got the mic. What are you gonna do differently moving forward? Just, one or two words, and then pass the mic. Perfect. Focusing more on supporting other people. Can't just go quick.
Well, I also wanted to think about like realizing or working on all of these things that are going on to my subconscious and being responsible and being responsibly aware of how my subconscious is taking control of us at times.
Awesome.
With all of these things these stereotypes and these paradigms that have been put into there.
Amazing. Olenike.
Getting all the facts before I put my opinion.
Perfect. John Paul.
Thinking of how
Come closer.
Thinking of how the ripple effects of how I treat other people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think it's easy to slip into only thinking of
Yourself.
It's true. I guess
I had it good.
Like adding to the snowball effect of like revolution that's what that means, I guess, supporting a business or even creating my own revolution within my own some sort. So just adding towards that, kind of building off that power. So
that's awesome.
Right.
So I mean, I have a lot of but I'll just say that just quick story. Like my mom, when she came to Canada, was the only Black worker at Mississauga Hospital, like the whole hospital. And she encouraged me to go to nursing school and so now I'm in school too. And now there's clinical placements in Ontario that, as a Black woman, I'm scared to go.
Wow.
And my mom encouraged me, and other Black people encouraged me. Like I'm currently in Cambridge Hospital, and at my orientation, I was the only Black person sitting there in January 2019. So, like Monique, like when she says that she's being blackballed, and just like like when you're in these educational systems, there's only 3 Black people in my entire cohort at this program at University of Toronto. 3 Black people.
For a nurse
in the Master's in Nursing program.
Yeah.
So it's not being scared by Netflix, not being scared by Cambridge Hospital, not being scared by UFT saying, Black women, this isn't for you.
Right.
No, it is for me. Like my mom was just like, I'm here,
right?
Be uncomfortable.
Nice.
That now the hospital, if it was meant to Mississauga, it's no big deal.
Right.
So the same way I'm taking from this, I'm like, gotta keep going. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm supposed to. What were you saying about respect? Like I'm supposed to act a certain way in Cambridge.
Yeah.
I have to speak a certain way. I have to sound a certain way on the phone. Hi, nice to meet you. Right. In order to have money for my children.
You're just undercover. Because you got to be woke and undercover.
100%. So keep moving forward. Don't get scared. Keep fighting, Monique.
Okay.
They come behind a lot of trailblazers. They've been struggling and, as you guys are saying, schooling for hundreds of years, just trying to stay alive in the system of Canada. So it's not easy, and sometimes, as young people call it, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the people that came before. And like I said, like Christine, for instance, came from the bags of homelessness. So I don't know what it's like to be homeless. And so when you do get to a place of privilege, you try to hang on to it for your children, your grandchildren, and the other ones that come behind, and you expect better for them, and you try to go both things, maybe a little undercover.
Right. Okay. Right. It's okay because you're too far and you don't understand. We have to get out of here. Not that you're not. I want you to just come closer so that you can share what you have to say.
I guess this is pretty awesome, this gathering. In terms of Monique, I feel like if we want to talk about priorities, maybe she was prioritizing money because for me, like I would want to be out there and let it be known that I'm one of the first Black females to do. So yeah, go undercover, right? Just to put yourself out there and inspire maybe someone who's watching to see that hey, I can do this too. So sacrifice an extra 500,000 just to be out there. Like I feel like she could have maybe humbled herself just a little bit, just to be out there. But yeah.
I've been thinking a lot. Recently. I'm personally going through situations myself, and then I just had a thought with Monique. There's two thoughts in my head of my situation that I'm currently thinking of: is to unapologetically speak my truth, and don't let anybody try to silence you. And I can't. So when I'm seeing this and what I've said previously about Monique, I can't fault her for that, actually. Because if I'm looking at myself, I'm doing the exact same thing. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. I just got a revelation.
Hey,
right.
The word.
Nice.
Word is alive.
I very much just like to continue being a member of the community and helping as much as I can. Like I've learned a lot in the past year at TYP. I'd like to continue learning.
Amazing.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I found this discussion really profound. I would say that the one takeaway is just not to judge. Not to judge each other. I feel like we're so quick to like jump down each other's throats, and we don't know the full story. We don't know Steve Harvey or Monique, right? We don't know
Jesse.
We don't. Yeah.
That's why you hired the Nigerian.
Yeah, but I mean like.
So I don't mean to make like. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to like step back and like try to be have a little perspective and like think about maybe there are other things that they're going through and they've experienced other things. They're witnessing things every day that's different. So just not to judge someone's struggle or what they're fighting for, what they're not fighting for, because you don't know. All right.
Then Boogie has the last word, and then we're gonna close down the room.
Peace and
And
blessings.
we'll see you Sunday at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here and see this movement growing. I'm really grateful to be part of the process. And, what I would take home, which was your initial call, is I'm involved in film, videography, graphics, animation, such and such. So in my area, I take upon myself to learn more about our issues and translate my material and work based on our original principles in order to uplift, elevate, teach, learn, and share. That's what I can give thanks and praise.
Wait, you have to speak into the mic.
Well, I wasn't here from the beginning, so I can just piggyback from what I've been hearing so far. For me, I'm still thinking. I'm still trying to map out things that what's going on, because I think if I'm getting it correctly, it's the $10 million that was offered to her. 500,000. I'm kind of thinking, being that she's in the business world, the way they evaluate things is different. Maybe they offer that because they're thinking at the time she's not as we would say hot in the market. She wouldn't pull or generate that amount of funds to do that. So, my thing is we just keep studying, keep learning, and see where it takes us.
Go
Come on, Alicia. Girl, you need to say something. Brayden, how are you going to be better moving forward? What are you going to do that's good in the world? Thank
All
you.
right,
That's,
so-
and that's all we can ask.
So and thank everybody for coming. My last point is like I love this. I love places that looks like this. And the thing, we have so much talent already within here. So my strategy is like whenever we come together, is to network. Like I don't, like he said, he does video. I don't know what you do, but I don't know what you do. And so basically, once we come together and we show our skills, we build community like that, and that's how we build independence and agency as well. So that's my whole thing. I'm organizing a march. I'll have more information in regards with that, and basically, yeah, like we're going to build our own network and community. I'm for inclusion, but we have to know ourselves before we include ourselves in anything.
Okay, so just one last point is to say that this Sunday at 3 p.m., if you follow the Elephant Room on Facebook, we have a Facebook page. If you're on Instagram, we are at the Elephant Room TV. If you want to follow the Black Rat Student Association, they are at BGSA_U of T. And iLive Radio is iliveradio.com, right? iliveradio.com. And you can also follow Chris Jerk Bistro on Instagram as well. And Kinte, we want to give you love and shout outs as well. Feel free to share amongst yourselves your contact information online. We'll be happy to share that information through with the people here in Toronto. Yeah, it's been a really great show. I'm sorry you missed a lot of the conversation, but I'm sure this is going to be the beginning of many, many more conversations. So thank you all. We'll see you on Sunday at 3.
And thank you, you two, as well, for putting
Thank
up.
Thank you. All right, cool. Let's eat. Sorry, guys. Bye, Get Boko.
Peace.
So, the food is here. Yes, you don't have to.
Nice. Yes.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll